AI never sleeps, which is why we get incredible AI news every single week. So then, let's take a look at what's new in AI this week in this new episode of AI Recap. Hello humans, my name is Kay, your overload, and welcome to this week's AI Recap, where we take a look at the best of the best, the cream of the crop AI news of these last 7 days. And we start off with the first piece of news with a very simple question: has GPT-4 gotten dumber? Because apparently this is what a lot of people have been saying these last few months. However, Peter Wellinger, the VP product at OpenAI, decided to respond to these accusations by saying that no, GPT-4 has not gotten dumber, actually quite the opposite, that the newest version of GPT-4 is much smarter than the previous one. But users all around the world have been making observations and speculation for a few months now, and apparently a new study seems to prove it, with the release of a paper called How is ChatGPT's Behavior Changing Over Time, where they basically demonstrated that the March 2020 version of GPT-4 compared to the June version was much better at coding and solving math problems, with a huge decrease of success rate from 97.6% to 2.4% when it comes to solving math problems or code generation. And most people have concluded by saying that basically OpenAI made GPT-4 much dumber to save on cost, and that compared to the March version of GPT-4, which was supposed to be a very big, huge model, the current GPT-4 model is basically a bunch of small models running together, which could explain why the results are now so bad. That's pretty disappointing, right? However, none of this is actually true, because in reality the study was not correct in the first place. Yeah, that's right. In the study, they basically used a dataset of 500 problems and used GPT-4 to figure out if a given number was primed or not, and the latest GPT-4 version did much worse than the one from March. However, every single one of those numbers used in the study was a prime number. They never actually tested any composite numbers, and if you don't know what a prime number or a composite number is, basically a prime number is just a number that can only be divided by 1 or itself, whereas composite numbers can be divided by other numbers. And what they basically found out is that GPT-4 as a base has just a lot of trouble finding whether a number is prime or not. So basically it did not get worse, it was never good at it. So yeah, basically this entire study proving that GPT-4 has gotten worse is just not correct. And if you're asking about, well, what about coding? It was definitely proven that the current version of GPT-4 was much worse at coding compared to the March version, right? But in reality, again, the June GPT-4 model started surrounding the code with the Python markdown that the researchers did not strip before doing the benchmark. And once you do and you redo the test again, you apparently find out that the June version is actually better than the March version of GPT-4. So yeah, I mean, apparently this entire thing is a complete hoax. And as of right now, we have absolutely no proof that GPT-4 has gotten worse compared to its first release in March. Now, I'm gonna be very honest with you, I'm gonna give you my opinion. Like, I personally haven't really noticed a decrease in the quality of the generation for GPT-4. However, I definitely noticed that something was different compared to the model released in March. The model almost seems like a little bit more censored in a way, but again, since I'm not really a GPT-4 power user and I don't really use it that much, I cannot really tell you for sure that GPT-4 has gotten worse or better compared to when it was released. However, there are definitely people who still think that GPT-4 was degraded over time, which is why some of them have decided to take matter into their own hands, like Pietro Schirano, that basically created OGPT-4, which is basically like the March version of GPT-4 that you can use right now for absolutely free, apparently. So like you come here, type your message, something like, write me the HTML code for a page with a button that can generate random corny jokes, and very quickly it will start generating your code. So like now if I take the entire code and put it in my online HTML editor, and we get my random corny joke generator. And now if I click on generate joke, we get, why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. Yeah, very nice, very nice. So yeah, I mean, apparently if you think that GPT-4 has gotten much worse compared to the March version, well, you can use something like OGPT-4 to use the old version back for free. But yeah, there you go. As I said, I don't personally find that GPT-4 has gotten much worse, but definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of it, if you saw a big difference between the GPT-4 models that were released, if it's gotten worse or better, because I'm really interested to see if this is just my opinion, if my observation is correct, or if other people completely do not agree with me. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. Now, although we cannot prove that GPT-4 has gotten worse, we can definitely prove that GPT-4 has gotten a bunch of new upgrades. Like for example, starting next week, the new limit for GPT-4 will be 50 messages per 3 hours, compared to the 25 messages every 3 hours that we have currently, which I mean is definitely pretty cool. You can now send twice as much messages as before for pretty much the same price. And although as of right now it's still not out for me, as always OpenAI will start rolling out the update for ChatGPT Plus users over the course of the next week. So yeah, that's a pretty cool upgrade. And speaking of upgrades, literally a few hours ago we got an announcement for ChatGPT again that they are gonna start rolling out custom instructions, which will basically give you way more control over how ChatGPT responds. And that I gotta say is really a super cool update, because basically what this will allow you to do is that it will give you 2 prompts with 1500 characters each, where you could insert some custom instructions that will impact how ChatGPT will respond. Like for example, so you get these 2 prompt boxes. The first one says, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And here the person says, I work on science education programs for 3rd grade students. In the second box that asks you, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? And here the person says, when discussing potential solutions for work-related items, present the information in a table format outlining the pros and cons of each option, allowing for easy comparison and decision making. And basically these custom instructions, as long as they are enabled, will always be applied on the entire conversation. So like here for example the person says, what would be 3 important things to teach about the moon? And here immediately, without asking any more question, ChatGPT just create this table with the pros and the cons for each option, exactly like the person asked in the custom instructions. So basically instead of putting all of this information each time in your prompt, you will put this as custom instructions. And this is only one use case. Like another example, here you can say that you are a software developer and that you only use a certain language for coding. This way each time that you ask for a code, ChatGPT will always write the code in the language that you provided before, so that again you don't need to copy and paste all of this information inside of your prompt. And no matter what, ChatGPT will always remember those instructions. Because let's say for example that you want to like write an email in your own style or in a more conversational tone, well again instead of putting this inside your prompt, you can put all of this information inside the custom instructions. So again it will just allow you to save a little bit of time. So again, although it's not exceptional, it's still a pretty cool upgrade. And speaking of upgrade, ChatGPT is not the only one who got a brand new upgrade, because recently Bing Chat also had a pretty cool addition in the form of an upload image option. And since Bing is using GPT-4 as a base, not only you can now use it to search the internet, but now you can even use it to talk with your images. So like for example, if I click on this button, click on add an image, and you can either take a photo, paste an image URL, or upload from your device. So now if I upload this GIF image of Patrick Star, and I ask something like, write me a sentence this character would say, and if I press enter, Bing Chat will then analyze the image, recognize the character, and then it will create an answer. A possible sentence that Patrick Star would say is, I'm not dumb, I just have a lot of blonde moments. Now although I'm not exactly sure about like the authenticity of this sentence, it still managed to find out who that character is based solely on one image and then generate an answer. And you can of course do this with a bunch of different stuff. Like you can for example use this to determine the breed of a dog if you don't know. Like if for example I upload this image of a beagle and I ask what is the breed of that animal, which again Bing Chat is gonna analyze the image, and very quickly, very easily it has determined that it is a beagle dog. It will even give you a bunch of information. It will also give you links to a bunch of websites that you can click on to learn more. And also another thing that you can do with this is for coding and website creation. So for example, if I upload an image of this login screen, and then if I ask Bing, can you reproduce this exact login screen using HTML and CSS? And just like that, in only a few seconds, Bing will generate a bunch of code in HTML and CSS that is going to be very close to what you can see right here. So for example, if I take this code and I put this on my online HTML editor, and as you can see, we have something that is very close to what I uploaded right here. Now obviously it is not perfect, the color is not even the same, but it's still pretty impressive that it manages to do something like this from only a simple JPEG picture. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of use cases where you can use this really cool free addition. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So definitely try this out yourself, especially because compared to GPT-4, it is completely free. However, just because it is 100% free does not mean that it is open source. But do you know what is open source? Llama 2, the newest open source large language models released by Meta in partnership with Microsoft. Now I already made a video about this on Wednesday, so if you want to have more information about Llama 2, I definitely suggest that you watch this video. But basically there's now 3 Llama 2 models, a 7, 13 and 17 billion parameters that all have a pretty pre-training tokens of 2 trillion with a content size limit of 4096. And all of these models are basically really powerful. Much powerful than other models based on the first Llama architecture. And this time it is also completely open source, free for research and commercial use. And that's pretty cool, right? Well, however, apparently it is not that simple. Because a lot of people have been saying that Llama 2 license is not actually open source. And although Meta is actually saying it themselves that Llama 2 is open source, when you actually read the license, you quickly realize that it is not actually true. Because apparently the Meta policy actually input a lot of restrictions on how you can use those models. Like for example, you cannot use the generation made by Llama 2 to improve other LLMs. You can also not use Llama 2 if you are one of Meta's competitor, like Google, Apple, Amazon, etc. So yeah, unfortunately it seems like the Llama 2 license is really not open source. Because although we get the weights, although we get the models, although we get the research paper and everything in between, and if there are restrictions on how you can use the generation of those models to improve other smaller ones, well in that case it is not open source. So yeah, unfortunately this is really some misleading marketing. And again, that's kinda a little sad. Now don't get me wrong, I still kinda like the Llama 2 models. They really have a lot of potential and the community can still use those models to create our own, but these models are definitely not open source. So yeah, they should probably change this on their homepage. Just saying. However, if you still want to try it out yourself, there's actually a really cool website provided by Hugging Face that allow you to use the Llama 70 billion parameter model for absolutely free online. And there's even a very cool add-on that allows you to use it connected to the internet. And the speed of the generation is really super impressive. So yeah, as you can see, in only a few seconds it will start writing your code for absolutely free. So you don't need to install anything, you don't need to install the Bugatti Generation Web UI, you can just use it absolutely free online. So yeah, if you want to try it out, I will leave a link to it in the description down below. So yeah, although Llama 2 is not open source, it's still really good for roleplay or to create new fictional characters. And you can do all of that for free. And do you know who else wants to create new characters from scratch for free? Hollywood. Because indeed, as you might have seen on the news, there is now a huge controversy around AI used in Hollywood, which made the actors and writer go on strike. And the reason why they went on strike is kinda scary because basically Hollywood studios propose using AI to scan background actors for 1 day's pay and continue using their image and likeness on any future project forever, with no additional compensation or consent, just 1 day of pay. So yeah, basically Hollywood wants to save a lot of money by scanning background actors, giving them only 1 day of pay, and then own the scan, the image, their likeness, so that they can use it forever on any project that they want without any consent or compensation. Which is why you see now these huge protests of apparently more than 170,000 Hollywood actors and writers protesting against the use of AI to replace their jobs. And yeah, I gotta say, right now is probably not the best time to be a writer or a Hollywood actor. Because again, when for example AI image generation came out, we all kinda knew that big corporations are gonna use this to save a lot of money and try to replace people with AI. Because obviously if big corporations can save money on manpower and salaries using AI, of course they're gonna do it. Now although this is a pretty shady situation, in a way I still think that this technology could be used for this purpose in the future. But it should not be something mandatory. It should just be like an option. Because if for example some people don't want to be actors anymore and they are somehow okay to lending their likeness to be used forever by the Hollywood studios and just getting a big payday, this should be an option. Now personally I'm gonna say I don't really know a lot of people that would be okay with this, because yeah, I mean it's kind of creepy to be honest, because although I always say that you should use the AI tools to make your job easier and faster, I don't think that AI tools should be used to replace an entire person. I mean obviously as time goes on and AI gets better, I really think that more and more jobs will be replaced by AI. Like for example, I think writers can be easily replaceable, I think, with like a better version of GPT-4, especially if you see some of the movies that they make in Hollywood right now. But again, we're still talking about a person's jobs here, so I think it's better that for now we wait and see what happens. Although if the strike continues, I don't think that Hollywood will have any other options than to revert their decision, at least for now. Because the day that Hollywood will get their hands on a technology that will allow you to create a new show from scratch without the input of real human beings, believe me, they're gonna use it. But I think that this is something that is not gonna happen anytime soon. Right? Well, actually, there is already something that exists that can already do that. Yeah, I mean, this is not a joke. So there is this San Francisco startup called Fable that just released a new AI called Show 1. that will basically write, animate, direct, voice, and edit completely new episode of TV shows. Yeah, that's right. And they even showcased here the proof of concept by creating a brand new episode of South Park from scratch, where you basically have a bunch of characters with their own personality, with the different set, and then you can write your prompt, when you can write the story, and then it's gonna automatically create a brand new episode from scratch, with animation, voices, and everything.
Guys, have you heard about the Screen Actors Guild strike? Yeah, it's all over the news. That sucks. Does that mean there won't be any new shows coming out? Exactly, Stan. And that's where my business idea comes in. I'm glad you asked, Kenny. It's called Queepy, a deepfake streaming service. Wait, what? Deepfake? Cartman, that's illegal and unethical. No, it's genius. We take existing shows and movies and just replace the actors with deep fake versions of other famous people. Like imagine Game of Thrones, but with Danny DeVito as Daenerys. That's ridiculous, Cartman. Is it ridiculous? Or is it so ridiculous that it just might work? No, it's definitely just ridiculous. Well then, I guess you guys won't want to cut of the profits when Queepy takes off. More for me then. There won't be any profits, Cartman. You're going to get sued. Not if they can't prove it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a deep fake streaming empire to build. So, as we were saying, Mr. Spokesman, our idea is called Queepy. It's a deep fake streaming service.
Huh, interesting concept. But how do you plan on pulling...
And yeah, there you go. I'm not gonna pursue any further. But basically, as you saw, it is really just super impressive and kind of scary, because with one little single small prompt, it created an entire episode with animation, voice acting, different locations, different characters with their own personalities. And here this is just like an example of 11 minutes generated completely automatically from beginning till the end. I mean, this is just, yeah, I don't know what to say. This is really super scary, I'm not gonna lie. And everything is actually really well done. Like the dialogue, the writing itself. You could never have guessed that this was done automatically. You would just assume that it was done by like a fan and not like an AI. So yeah, this is really impressive and kind of scary. So yeah, if you want to watch like the entire episode, I will leave a link to it in the description down below. And yeah, this kind of technology will definitely replace a lot of jobs in the future. Writers, actors, editors, well, pretty much anyone really. And if you think that it is only for Hollywood shows, that only Hollywood actors and writers are in danger, well, no worries my guy, because jobs like web designers are also now in danger, thanks to the release of the new AI by Wix, that basically allows you to create a brand new website from scratch by using only a single prompt, where you can basically enter a bunch of information about your business, about the website, how it should look, and automatically it's gonna populate it with a bunch of images, create a brand new template from scratch, and then create your entire website in only a few seconds. So yeah, if you are a web designer and you think that your job is not gonna be replaced, well, think again, because yeah, it is. This is the time that we live in right now. It's kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. And again, just like a single prompt allow you to change the layout of the website, and everything is done automatically. So something that would take you like hours before can be done automatically in only a few seconds, even if you know nothing about web design or web development. Yeah, that's really impressive. So yeah, looks like this AI stuff is gonna replace a lot of jobs, right? Well, you can say that again, because unfortunately we're not done. Because if AI can replace actors, if AI can replace writers, if AI can replace web designers, it can now also replace sales and customer service reps with the release of Air AI that can basically perform full 5 to 40 minute long sales and customer service calls over the phone that sounds exactly like a real human. So like for example, take a look.
Hey James, it's Alexander from Tesla Motors. How's your day going so far?
It's going pretty good, my man. How about yourself? You said from Tesla, right? It's the car company?
Yeah, that's right. I'm calling from Tesla Motors, the car company. Did you have any trouble or questions while customizing your car on our website?
No, we're just kind of shopping around and, just taking a look.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Sometimes we're just exploring our options before making a decision, and I totally respect that. Can I ask you why you were looking into a Tesla in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, I've had my car for way too long now, and so I'm kind of taking a look at options. And I have a lot of friends who just absolutely rave about Tesla. And, me myself, I'm actually a big fan of Elon Musk. So I figured I might as well take a look and kind of explore my options there and see what you guys had available.
That's a smart approach, James. It's always good to explore your options and see what's available. Out of curiosity, what do you currently drive?
So yeah, I mean, there you go. The rest of the conversation is pretty much the same. So as you saw, this is an entire conversation made over the phone between a real person and an AI salesman that is basically gonna talk with you, answer your questions, and try to sell you the product of their company. And all of that without requiring any human intervention. So yeah, I mean, there you go. So I mean, looks like the subject of this video should be, which jobs will AI replace next? Because I mean, yeah, this is really impressive and also kind of scary. Because again, if you can just sell product over the phone and answer customer service questions without employing any real humans, this will really mean that a lot of jobs will slowly disappear over the next few years. So yeah, although before we were always saying that AI are tools, that they are not there to replace humans, that they are just here to make our job and life easier, well, it looks like maybe this is not where AI is headed. It looks like we are really getting replaced one after the other. Hell, maybe as a YouTuber I think I am next. Or maybe I have been an AI all along. Who knows anymore? So yeah, there you go, cool but scary stuff. And I think that a lot of big companies will use this kind of technology to save a lot of money. Or they might even just create their own bots so that they can stay in their own monopoly. And speaking of creating their own bots, there is actually one company, one big company, that really hasn't talked about AI that much. And that is Apple. But don't worry, because now it is changing. Because apparently Apple has now announced that they are currently testing Apple GPT, which is their own set of generative AI tools that they created to enter in competition against ChatGPT. Now, as of right now, we don't really have a lot of information about what Apple GPT is, or even what it will do, but since Apple has a lot of information about their consumers, they'll be able to train a very powerful AI based on those data. And I'm talking about iMessage history, search history, health data, photo, emails, etc. So yeah, basically Apple GPT will know you better than ChatGPT, Bard, or any other AI on the market. They might even push this as an update for Siri, so that the AI assistant will become even smarter. But again, as of right now, we don't really have a lot of information, so for now it's just wait and see. But apparently it should arrive beginning of next year. Now, one thing that you don't really wait for to release is the new image generation AI tool created by Meta called Chameleon. It is basically an open source model created by Meta to enter in competition with Stable Diffusion. And it is apparently pretty powerful, able to generate anatomically correct hands, fantasy characters, or even readable text, with the ability to modify a base image by using a very simple prompt, exactly like Instruct Pix2Pix for Stable Diffusion. But compared to Stable Diffusion, Chameleon is actually extremely optimized, since it can run with 5 times the compute efficiency of other models. So yeah, if for some reason you cannot root Stable Diffusion on your computer, you will probably be able to use Chameleon without any issues. And it also has a bunch of other features, like reading and understanding images and being able to modify it at will, or precisely understand what each object are in the image, and even being able to easily segment the entire image with different color-coded sections. So yeah, as of right now the model is still not out yet, but once it come out, I will definitely try this out. And speaking of trying this out, here's the last small tool for the video called Fabric, which is basically a training-free method for using iterative feedback to improve the results of Stable Diffusion models. So basically what it does is that it's gonna generate a bunch of images, and then you can select the images that you want to generate more of, and it's gonna do just that. And if you want to, you can try it out right now. So like for example, let me generate an image. Let me see something like young beautiful woman sitting drinking coffee, and if now I click on generate, it's gonna generate 4 different images, as you can see right here, and for each image you will see a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And basically what it does is that if you want to generate images that are more like this one, you're gonna click on the thumbs up image, so in my case it is like image 3, and let's say I don't like image number 1 and 2, so I'm gonna click on image 1 and image 2, and basically what it's gonna do is that if I click on generate again, it's gonna generate 4 images again, but this time they're all gonna be very close to the image that we liked previously. It is basically very similar to the Midjourney variation option, but this time it is applied for Stable Diffusion models, and all of that without changing the prompt. And you can of course go on and on and on and choose the image that you like until it perfectly generates the image that you're looking for. So yeah, pretty cool demo, pretty nice tool that I think will probably soon be implemented into the Automatic 1111. So yeah, there you have it folks, this was the AI news for the week. A lot of good, a lot of of bad, a lot of weird news, a lot of sad news, especially when it comes to the, job replacement stuff. But I mean, yeah, as I said, it is what it is. We all kinda knew that this was eventually coming. We just did not know how soon it would be. Well, now we kinda know, which is why it is super important to always stay up to date and follow the AI news. And one way you can do that is of course to follow my channel, so don't forget to subscribe. But you can also subscribe to my AI newsletter called the AI Gaze, so that you're always up to date with the latest AI news, tools, and research. The link for it will be in the description down below. And there we are folks, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you also so much to my YouTube and Patreon supporters for supporting my videos. You guys are absolutely awesome. You people are the one who support me so I can make these videos for you, so thank you so much. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.